Good morning and welcome to Fountain Street Church. My name is Christopher Rowe and I am the minister for spiritual life and learning here at this beautiful temple that we call our spiritual home. I am so glad that you have joined us today. And today is an especially exciting day because we welcome Matthew Cockrum to join us as we kick off our special spring pulpit series. Now, Matthew actually had the role that I now have today, and so I have so enjoyed getting to know him better, and I have so enjoyed the sermon and the love and the passion that he has put into this morning's service. And with him, we have created something that I think will be special for all of you as we kick off this inaugural Sunday in the Spring Pulpit series. Thank you for being here. It means so much that you still continue to worship with us, even in these unusual times. As we get ourselves into the heart and mind and spirit of the space of worship together, I have a call to worship that I want to share with all of you this morning, and it might be familiar. It's from Wendell Berry, The Peace of the Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of the wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of the still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. My friends, our prayer for you this morning is that you can come for this moment in time and rest for a while and join us together in worship. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I wish you a blessed Easter and a blessed Ramadan Mubarak. And even if it might be hard to imagine a blessed season of stay home, stay safe during this COVID-19 virus. I bring to you two readings this morning, two poets of our times. The first comes to us from Pesha Joyce Gertler. She was a founder of Self-Discovery for Women Through Creative Writing, was a poet, educator, and author born in the Pacific Northwest and raised in New York. And she was 2005's Seattle Poet Populist. She says of her urge to write, "My Jewish immigrant's grandmother, who raised her, my Jewish immigrant grandmother's need to work in sweatshops precluded an education. Hence, she could neither read nor write in English. And through her, I learned how language can shut one out as well as draw one in. Out of this heritage, my love and respect for language grew, my appreciation for the magic and power of words." And so this poem from Pesha Joyce Gertler, finally, on my way to yes. Finally, on my way to yes, I bump into all the places where I said no. All the untended wounds, the red and purple scars, those hieroglyphs of pain carved into my skin, my bones, those coded messages that send me down the wrong street again and again. Where I find them, the old wounds, the old misdirections, and I lift them one by one close to my heart, and I say, "Holy, holy." Our second reading today comes to us from another contemporary poet and teacher, probably familiar to many of you as he spent time here in Michigan at the Fetzer Institute, Mark Nepo. This text comes from one of his early books called Finding Inner Courage. It, like many of his texts, is tinged with knowledge of being a cancer survivor, a multiple-time cancer survivor. And he writes, "Since I was first diagnosed with cancer, I have never been the same. In some ways, I am still stunned to be here." This is not a book on how to get past illness. I've never gotten past it. Rather, it has turned me inside out. So this from Mark Nepo, God's timing. When the lip is cut, no matter how, the need to heal makes us chew slower and drink to one side. It makes us speak only when we have something to say. These are not bad things. When the mind is cut by a truth too sharp to hold, it makes us bleed the things we cling to. If lucky, we bleed the things that no longer work. When the self others have sealed us in is cut, it lets us escape with only what we were given at birth. While there are terrible ways to be opened, there is no such thing as a bad opening. It's all about God's timing. Not open enough, and we fester. open too long, and we become a wound. If you speed up how a flower blooms, it appears to be escaping. If you slow down the way a crisis explodes what we know, it appears we are transforming. Hard as it is to embrace, crises are flowers opening what we refuse to open by ourselves.
Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day, day and night. Why is it so? Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? Wherever, in the roaring traffic boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, under the hide of me. Oh, such a hungry burning yearning inside of me. Its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life with you, with you.
Friends, it is good to be with you. It is good to be back among you, even virtually, among some familiar faces, and I am happy to know many new to me. I count my time with you at Fountain Street Church to be among the most powerful and formative experiences of my life and of my ministry. And I am delighted and honored to be with you to share some of the fruits of my continued exploration and formation since I left you in 2012. This is an especially pivotal and powerful time powerful and pivotal time in the life of this institution, a new candidate for senior minister, and a powerful and pivotal time in the life of our global community. In fact, the world as a being itself, as we struggle to learn how to live with this virus that have changed our daily lives and so much of what we know and revealed so much more. Perhaps both of these are processes revealing things we have known or suspected, but perhaps not wanted to look at. My message to you today is simple, though unpacking it will take a bit of time as usual. But if you take nothing else with you today from our time together, I hope it is this. We are all here to heal. We are all here to heal. On our way to saying yes during these transformative times when everything within us might want to go back to the way it was, when it is so tempting to go back down the same misdirections, or when we may hold forth some imagined vision of an idyllic promised land, it is important to remember that we are all here to heal. By which I mean this. Each of us, every one of us, and everyone we ever encounter carries wounds. Some fresh, some ancient, older than even this lifetime. Some familiar and some hidden. But as well as those wounds, we also carry medicine. Some of it we know, we hone, we cultivate and use, and some of it is being revealed to us or is waiting for us to discover it, if we are willing to look for it and to accept it. We are all here to heal. And when I say healing, I'm not necessarily referencing the Western medical model or the notion of a cure, though perhaps that is all that much more evident these days as we struggle with COVID-19. The people that I have met through ministry with you in other congregations, in denominational work, and in hospital chaplaincy, you and they have shown me again and again that truly the kind of healing that most benefits us rarely restores us to a former condition. Rather, this kind of healing reveals us to ourselves in a new way at some higher or deeper level. The healing that moves us forward in life, the healing on our way to yes, usually involves some sort of deep shakeup, a willingness to let go of what was, and also to encounter and accept those old wounds, to lift them up and say, holy, holy. It is coming to know ourselves in a new way that is different from who we thought we were. And a re-entry into the world with new skills, new gifts, new wisdom, and a more profound appreciation for our past, our present, and our future. We gain in this kind of healing a clearer sense of ourselves, of the power we do and don't have. And we gain a clearer sense of our part in the larger scheme of things. In this kind of healing, we become what I like to call right-sized. That is to say, neither bigger nor smaller than the world needs us to be. And I will add that this kind of healing impresses upon us that the world does indeed need us. And as you've no doubt heard again and again from this pulpit over the years, the world needs you, needs your gifts, and needs you to discover them and to choose to bless the world with your gifts. Not only and perhaps not even primarily for your own good, but for the larger good, for the commonwealth of creation. You may not always like your gifts, you may not always understand them, but the world needs you to discover them and to live into them. And it may not make sense to you. The process may be painful, may entail revisiting old wounds on the way to yes, may take you to places you never imagined yourself going, didn't want to go. But that is all part of the healing and part of your becoming a healer. It requires reacquainting yourself with pain, your own, your neighbors, and that of the world, the ancient pain and the fresh pain. And it requires holding those places close, learning from them, leaning into them. It requires returning to those places where we have been opened and moving with gentleness and justice towards transformation. This, my friends, is the work of healing for ourselves, for our communities, and for our planet. Part of my recent spiritual journey has entailed working with holistic health practitioners, including breath work and energy healing and also indigenous medicine. And it is in these contexts that it has been impressed upon me that movement and music are part of my medicine, part of how I heal myself and part of how I participate in the healing of others. And it is in one of these sessions that a song came to me, something that has never happened before and has not yet happened since. It was as though the song was just given to me. It came up and through me, and the words just flowed. You are enough. You are enough. All that you have been, all that you will be, all that you are enough. And at first I thought the song was just for me, until I was invited to sing it to my husband. And I did, to my beloved. You are enough. You are enough. All that you have been, all that you will be, all that you are enough. And then I sang it to the world. We are enough. We are enough. All that we have been, all that we will be, all that we are enough. You are enough. I am enough. And I have been singing this song in ever-expanding circles ever since, like a Buddhist meditation practice. Who I am, who you are, who we are, who we have been and who we will be is enough. And it is not who we have been forever, and it is not who we will be forever, but it is enough. If we slow down enough, crises explode what we know. It appears we are transforming. A few months ago, before the virus, and a few months after that session, I participated in a men's retreat in the Amazon River Basin of Peru. The purpose of the retreat was supposed to be to balance divine masculine and feminine energies, and each of us was asked to clarify our healing intentions, which we shared first with the community at large and then spoke about privately with local healers. We had healing images painted on our skin, and we received healing songs and local medicines. You see, in the culture of the Shipibo, the indigenous tribe of the Ucayali River, the area we were in, the worldview is that all of creation is made of music or song, each of us born with it, encoded into us. And these songs are depicted through pattern, shape, and color, like this, which I brought back with me. These songs can be sung by those who know how to read them. And when our songs get snagged or tangled or torn or warped, we need help straightening them out again. The shamanic healers, in order to contribute to the healing process, look into each person with whom they are working, notice where their song is disrupted or distorted, and then sing over them, among other things. But the person seeking healing needs to be willing to receive it. And it does not just happen to you. It does not just happen all at once. It is a process in which you have to participate, and it takes intention and work repeatedly. And it takes a willingness to see the part of yourself and the part of your world that you'd rather avoid, perhaps parts you thought you were done with. And it takes a willingness to accept a new view of the world, perhaps one that is uncomfortable or unfamiliar. It was during this retreat, exposed to healing chants whose language I could not understand, that I realized I have healing in me. I have music I've gathered over the years, and I'd recently been given my own song, and I needed to share it somehow. And as the retreat concluded, one of my fellow retreatants asked, "So what are you here to heal again? What are you here to heal?" And I thought about my intentions, about my relationship to power, my own and others, to fear, to purpose. And knowing I would be here with you in the near future, I also thought of church. And I wondered, what would it be like if gathered worshiping community was seen intentionally as a place of healing? If we saw the places we gathered as places to be supported in transformation work and in the transformation of the institution, as well as our families, our larger community, and the world in which we live? What if we saw these places as places we came to face shadows in ourselves and in the world, and to see those shadows as holy and wise? What would it be like if grand sanctuaries and modest meeting halls were seen as the humble maloka, the hut in which I gathered with those men, each of us with fear and hope and longing, each of us grappling with our own demons, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and the demons of the world around us? And what would it be like if we trusted that there is a process going on in us and through us, a process we're not in control of, but with which we are invited to collaborate and to which we need to contribute? And what if we saw this process as one of being opened? What would it be like if the church saw itself as an institution for healing, a gathering of people seeking to be healed and seeking to offer healing, seeking to understand their role in the healing of the world? And I thought, well, if that were to happen, we'd all need to be getting clear on the answer to that question: what are you here to heal? In ourselves, in the world around us, both always both. Especially, friends, in times of crisis and transition, opportunities for healing abound. Not cures, necessarily, not always, and certainly not right away, but healing nonetheless. Could there be healing in what you are discovering during these times? About yourself, the people with whom you share your life, your communities, your world. How, my friends, are reason and compassion, conscience and vision being awakened in you? And can you be open to those as sources of healing? Can you be opened by this process to what is revealed in these times about our country, about our political systems, about economics, about the distribution of wealth and resources, justice and healthcare? Can we be opened to these old, ancient wounds? Can we look at this and receive it and hold it close and say, holy, 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 and move towards a deeper yes of willingness, of openness? For to be hopeless would seem so strange. It has been said by many, but it bears repeating. We are living through a traumatic time, and very few, if any of us, have ever lived through anything like this before. You do not have to know how to do this. It is normal to be disoriented. It is normal not to be at your best. And even in that, my friends, there is healing, for you are enough, even when you're not at your best. And you are not alone, though you may feel very lonely. And you are also living through times of tremendous potential and possibility, both as a congregation and as a part of this larger global experience. We need to learn to rely more on each other, to trust and to listen to each other, to be changed by these times for the better in ways we cannot predict or control or maybe even understand. Friends, the world needs healing. Everyone and everything around you needs healing. And you need healing. And that's a good thing, because we are all here to heal. And we all have some healing to offer. Through our letting go and through our speech, through our song and through our silence, and through the gifts waiting to emerge through us, and through the wounds that need our attention. Courage to you, friends. In the midst of confusion and fear, wonder and tears, you are enough. May you be open and willing. May you be healers. May you be healed. It is good to be in the work together. We are all here to heal.
And so we come to that time this morning where we each have the opportunity to give a little bit of ourselves for the betterment of our community. As you've known for a while, Fountain Street Church takes that weekly ingathering and splits it up 50% back into the world and 50% for our own operations, so that we might continue to operate as an institution committed to freeing the mind, growing the soul, and changing the world. And it's that changing the world piece that's so important right now. For those of us who have the privilege and the security and the safety to give a little more right now, now's the time to act. We have ways that we can do it virtually. You'll see it on the screen during the offering. But we also have ways that you can reach out to the office and share your gift in a paper form. What matters most is you see the ways in which our time of offering at Fountain Street Church is indeed an act of freeing our mind, growing the soul, and changing the world, and perhaps most profoundly, it is an act of radical love that we have been empowered to do for the past 150 years, and that we are being empowered to do to carry this legacy going forward. So with that spirit, I want to invite each of you to give generously as you're able, and to think about the ways in which our combined gifts are changing the world together. You know, there's that famous line from the Mary Oliver poem, The Summer Day, where she says, I don't know exactly what a prayer is. And I think that's always really resonated with me, and I think it resonates with a lot of people, especially in times that are as unusual as the ones we find ourselves in today. I love how Mary Oliver goes on to then describe what she did do, you know, how she wanders and spends time in the grass and how she knows how to pay attention. And she ultimately says, what else should I have done? And I think there's such a profound truth in that. As you and I look to resist the anxiety that's all around us, as we look to resist some of the darkness that seems to be bubbling up around us, we have to seek ways in which we pay attention in our own way. And for me, I don't always know what prayer looks like either, kind of like Mariela. And so I keep folding these cranes, and I think, quite frankly, that is my form of prayer right now. It's a tangible way of resisting some of the uncertainty around me. It's a tangible way of reminding me that I am rooted in this community that I love. It's a tangible way that I take time out of each day to think about you. And I know so many of you have your own way of praying too. I know that my friend Carol Coister has a chair she sits in, and she looks out over the lake and she watches the animals, and that space is prayer for her. I know that the Pollard-Conant family, they cook. They've been doing all kinds of family cooking together, and their stuff looks amazing. And sometimes that's prayer too. You know, I know that there are families that are taking walks, lots and lots of walks. Bruce Lang is spending copious amounts of time in nature, warming up the salamanders and discovering what spring is giving to us. Each one of these is a tangible way to pray. It's a way of resisting kind of the madness that's around us. And so this morning, I want you to be liberated. I want you to think for a second about what prayer might be for you. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's stillness and silence, or maybe it's something like folding cranes. And instead of giving you the words to pray this morning, I want to give you the space to pray. Look out the window. Eat a food that really resonates within your soul. Do whatever you need to do that helps you pay attention and resist all that's around you that you need to resist in this very holy moment. I'm going to keep working on this crane. And I invite you to fill the space with whatever way brings meaning and joy and peace to your heart right now. May you each be so fortunate to find the space to pay attention in this holy moment and all the week long. Amen. last fall, some of you might remember when we put this beautiful plaque in to commemorate the last 150 years here at Fountain Street Church. It is quite literally cemented into the ground, not unlike this 150-year ministry and legacy here in West Michigan. Its permanence is a solid reminder of how much we are needed here, but it is also holding up a mirror back at us, making us realize that we have so much more ahead of us for this glorious institution. And so with that spirit in mind, we have a guest this morning who has a few words for each of you, who also, like you and I and our congregation, shares this belief that there's so much more beyond the story of this plaque. Without further ado, please hear these words from our special guest this morning.
Hello, members and friends of Fountain Street Church. I am so glad you have found your way to my website, and I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you and welcome. And your search committee has been working so hard for so long. They listen to your longings and your dreams. They listen to your visions. And when they share those with me, I couldn't believe I have found you, because your wishes and your longings and your dreams match my own. In fact, the search team said that it felt like kismet, like destiny or fate, and I couldn't agree more. I am so glad that you are here. I am so glad we have found one another, and I just wanted to welcome you to my website with this blessing written by Jan Richardson. It's titled Blessing the Threshold. So here it is. This blessing has been waiting for you for a long time. While you have been making your way here, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, biding its time, praying. This blessing has been polishing the door and oiling the hinges, sweeping the front steps, lighting the candles in the windows. All this time, this blessing has kept an eye on the horizon, watching, keeping vigil, hardly aware of how it was leaning itself in your direction. And now that you are finally here, this blessing can hardly believe its good fortune, that you have finally arrived, that it can drop everything at last to fling its arms wide open and say to you, welcome, welcome, welcome. So welcome, beloveds. I cannot wait to meet each and every one of you, and take your time looking through the website, and I look forward, so forward to connecting with you. Thank you again. Have a beautiful day.
I take a lot of walks downtown. I live downtown and I work downtown, and even though I haven't been coming into the church, I still come down here a lot. And I have to tell you, it's weird living in a major downtown when nobody's around. You might have noticed there is no one out here. And sometimes when I'm walking around, I might say to myself or my husband if he's with me, I hate this. It feels like the end of the world. It feels empty and desolate. And yet at the same time, it feels like love in action. It feels like there are people who have listened and they stay home. They care about the betterment of our community. They care about the betterment of the people they love and the people they don't even know. And so really this feels like an act of love to me. And more importantly, maybe it doesn't feel like the end of the world. Maybe it feels like the beginning of a new one. Maybe we are witnessing the beginning of a love revolution, of a sense of selflessness in our own community. I want to thank each of you for being a part of that selflessness, and thank each of you for being a part of the love and action, because this everything around me might actually be the beginning of a new world and not an old one. Thank you for being with us this morning, my friends. Thank you to Matthew Cockrum for his beautiful sermon. Thank you to Virginia and Danny for helping me put this together. And thank you so much to each one of you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. You matter, you're important to me, and until we see each other again, stay resilient, my friends.